The good news is you can do this. And I'm going to encourage you, whatever you've been through, my prayers are with you, my thoughts are with you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rolla, clinical psychologist, and today I'm continuing my self-disclosure series. I see this series as an equipping series because I'm sharing with you tools that I used to help in my journey of emotional recovery. I'm sharing with you tools that I have used with my patients. And I'm sharing them with you because it's been incredibly liberating and a blessing to be able to go on the journey of pain and come out on the other side. I'm sharing with you about my divorce, not to make it feel like it was cool to be divorced, because a sister of mine, wonderful sister, she asked me out of genuine concern. She's like, do you think people will think you're saying that divorce is okay? And now that you're ordained in ministry, how is it going to look if you're talking about your life after divorce? I listened to her carefully because these are the questions I asked myself before I finally decided to do this series. And I did that questioning then, and I did it again when she asked me. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not advertising divorce. I'm just being honest about my pain. And how many of you out there are going through so much pain, but you're hiding it and you're masking it because of what people will say, and that has hindered you from going on your journey on healing. And now 14 years after, because I'm healed and I'm growing and I'm enjoying my life, I want to share those principles with you to demystify the pain, to take away the shame from what you've gone through. And then I asked myself, what about those who may not like it? There are going to be people who don't like this series, but there are people that this series is going to be life-saving for. I'm going to do it for them. I'm going to do it for the people that truly are going through difficult times, and it may not be divorce, and they feel stuck. Many of them are people of faith, and they feel that they prayed and there's nothing else they can do. But there's so many things you can do, and there's so many tools at your disposal. And I believe that if you were to know what those tools are, you would use them. And when you use them and you experience the freedom from it, you'll be so much more eager to talk to somebody else about it. So that's why I'm doing this series. In the first episode, I did a series on need identification. You're going to have to go view that. Second one, need assessment. This is my third one. And this third one is conceptualizing loss. The tool is the tool of conceptualizing loss. And I'm going to explain to you what that looks like and how I applied it so that you can go ahead and apply it in your own life, and you can also help other people who are struggling. Now, this tool is loaded, and it's probably been one of the most difficult ones for me to utilize because it demands me to do some inner work. It's not about what people are seeing. It's about what is going on within me. I had to do a lot of reflection. I had to do a lot of grieving, but I was carrying this tool out, and it became powerful for me. Conceptualizing your loss in a healthy manner is one of the most powerful things you can do when you go through painful experiences. You have to come to a place where you are not in total denial, because I met those people. Oh, by God's grace, my spouse is in heaven, they're with Christ. I don't need to show any sadness, because if I do, it's going to look like I don't have faith. That is not a healthy conceptualization of loss. Or your children are struggling with their father's demise, or somebody else going on, or something else happening, or there's bullying and abuse, and you diminish that, and you act like it's not there, and you say, I'm too blessed to be stressed. Denial. That is an unhealthy conceptualization of loss. That kind of conceptualization that is unhealthy removes you from dealing with the reality of what you're facing, prevents you from taking the actions you need towards healing, and puts you in this unhealthy place of masking your pain with all other unhealthy habits. Now, the other side to that too, that could be unhealthy, is when you internalize this loss so much to where you are literally immobile. You can't make progress. And that is natural when you go through a loss, to feel overwhelmed for a short period of time. But I have worked with people and I've met people one-on-one who, not because they wanted to be that way, but they're stuck in that loss. They have not moved 5, 6, 7 years because they don't know how to. And every time they look at their lives, they cannot look at it in a context that is bigger than the loss that they've experienced. Everything is from the framework of the loss that they've experienced. And that can be very damaging. So what we're trying to achieve in this tool is come to a much more balanced way of conceptualizing loss. And I'm going to tell you how I did that. So look at my situation with the divorce. Married 15 years, knew my ex-husband as a teenager. We didn't date that young, but I knew he had an interest in me. Beautiful love story. Get married 15 years after divorce is in place. No marriage. When I conceptualize that loss, and it pushed me in that unhealthy way of, oh my God, I'm a loser. I became scared of what that would do to me. I lost motivation. I lost energy. I lost a desire to keep on going. And I said, no way, we're not doing this. You are going to look at your loss in a much larger context of who you are as a person. Who are you, Rolake? My full name is Rolake. Who are you, Dr. Rolla? Are you just what happened to you in that divorce, or are you much more? And how can you put that loss in context to where you feel the grief, but you're still making progress? You look back in sadness, but you're also looking forward more than you're looking backward. So I'm going to share with you 4 tools that I used, 4 ways, practical ways, in which I began to conceptualize loss in a healthy way. The number one thing I did is I began to measure my progress based on my current resources. Nothing as dangerous as measuring your progress in the light of what is gone. So what was gone for me? The husband is gone. The matrimonial home is gone. The stability of that home is gone. Living in the same home with the father of my children is gone. Now I'm dealing with co-parenting and all the other things that come with it. If I am not careful, if I measure myself in light of what is fully gone, I will never see myself as a success. So even if I'm making progress, like going to work, taking care of my kids, making sure I'm taking care of what's going on after the divorce, I may continue to see myself as a failure. And that is disastrous to your psyche, disastrous to you psychologically. For me as a mother, disastrous for my children. Because all that negativity, my children are going to feel it. So what did I have to do in measuring progress? You don't live in that house anymore, Rolake. You don't. That beautiful 4,000 square feet home that you could afford is gone. But right now, you have a nice roof over your head. Your kids have their bedrooms. You have a job. You have enough strength to go to work. You are making progress in the light of the resources that you have. And when I do that, I give myself a pat on the back. If I was to measure it based on what I had in real estate before, I would be in big trouble. And I would be in a constant place of grief. But when I look at where I am now, I began to clap for myself. I'm not waiting for the world to clap for me. I'm clapping for myself. After all you've been through, you're still maintaining a household and you're taking care of business. Number one, to conceptualize loss in the right way, you must measure your goals in the light of your current resources, not what is no more here. That way you're taking power away from somebody that may have tried to hurt you, and now you're looking within what you can control. It also makes you to be more grateful and more contentment. I love that scripture that says, God says, I will never leave you or forsake you. But right before that, in the book of Hebrews, it says, be ye contented. I learned to be contented with having a roof over my head. I don't have to have the biggest house. I don't have to have the biggest car, but I'm making progress. Number two, I began to find goals, no matter how small, to focus on. And I paid close attention to focusing on those goals. So let me give you examples in my own. I started to tell myself, now that you have this divorce, you're an ex-wife, you're a co-parent, you're a mom, you're a single parent, You're God's child. You're a Christian. There's so many aspects to your life. What are the goals you can work on now? Now that you're no longer married. I can't continue to blame somebody who doesn't want me anymore. I have to look at what goals I can handle now. And that's what I began to do. For me, the goals were small, some were big. Mostly, I would encourage you. Sorry, it's sweaty. It's hot out here. Mostly, I would encourage you, start with small goals. Some of my small goals was pay off that credit card is only $300. A small goal was making sure that all the girls, I only have the 2 girls, that the girls had good structure in the home. We have good bedtimes. We're going to our homework on time. We're getting things done in terms of feeling good, even though we have the divorce proceedings and the legal issues and all that. Another goal was to make sure that I remain attentive so that when my kids are sad, are overwhelmed, they don't always have to tell me. I can check in with them to find out how they're doing. And if they need any kind of help, psychological, whatever, we're getting it. And they're not getting it from me. They're going to somebody else who's objected to work with them. And I never had to do that with them, but I at least had that at the back of my mind. And I told them, if you need help, honey, we're going to go get it. And checking in with them to make sure, I know this is earth-shattering for you, but how are you doing, sweetheart? How are you doing? And simple goal is going to bed on time, making sure I feel healthy, getting my physical done. When I do those goals, it takes the power away from the loss. The loss is there. It's not going away right now. It's a reality. But I am focusing on those goals. And again, I'm clapping for myself and giving myself credit so that I'm not drowned out by the grief that I've experienced. The third way in which I learned to conceptualize loss in the right way, in a healthy, balanced way, is I gave myself a failure date. So I'll tell myself, I know you don't feel good right now about what happened with your marriage, but I'll say to you, you don't have a right to give up until this date. I might give myself 5 years or 10 years from now. When I started my private practice, I said, and I started that just before my my marriage ended, give yourself 5 years to fail. It's a weird thing. Give it your best, and if 5 years you fail in this business, call yourself a loser in the business and move to another goal. Which means I'm giving myself permission to win. The other thing I've done that has been life-changing for me, I tell myself, you were married to him for 15 years and you poured your life into that marriage. You poured your life into it from the day you knew it was going to become a marriage. Have you given yourself 15 years of that kind of effort? If you have a right to give up. If you haven't, you have no right to give up. So I set a failure date and I set it in the future. And I can tell you, I have not caught up with that failure date there. By the time that date comes, I've won on so many levels. I don't feel like I'm a loser. I know I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. And then number 4. This was a difficult one. I had to let go of close relationships with everyone that could not see me beyond that loss. There are people like that. They may mean well. They may be pastors. They may be preachers. They may be Christians. But they're throwing words at you to eat you up. Instead of them looking at how you're coping with what you're going through right now, they're coming at you. They're taking digs at you. Some of them are slight. They're insulting you. They don't want to see where you are. They want to take you back there. Some of them are married. But because you're divorced, they got to make it known and put it in your face. Honey, I'm not mad with you. I love everyone whose marriage is working. And I've counseled married women, several and multiple. When I tell them what I've gone through in my marriage and what I did to try to keep it, and I tell it to them, many of them have not done what I did. They go back in there and some of them are doing 25 years of marriage now and I'm celebrating with them. If you want to take a dig at me and you want to help me and push me in the direction of conceptualizing loss in an unhealthy way, I am not going to have a close relationship with you. No, because I have to pick up the pieces. I have to move forward. I have children to raise. My mind got to be right. My money got to be right. I have a mission and a reason why God has kept me alive. I cannot afford those relationships. I can come back to you in the future, but right now, I can't take these people that are constantly rubbing your wound and they don't want it to heal. Honey, I stay away from them. I keep my distance, whether related by blood or not. Those 4 things. I want to encourage you. Begin to conceptualize loss in a balanced way. I know you've lost something. I know somebody's hurt you, but that is not the end of a story. You can only discover a bright future, a place of healing, a place of restoration by moving forward. And you can only do that by being intentional about it. It's like swimming against the tide, to be honest. But you can do it. The fact that it's not an easy tool does not mean it's not doable. I did it. I still do it. And it's incredibly liberating. And the other thing I discovered about this tool, this conceptualizing loss tool, is that you have to keep on using it. And now, even when I'm doing things that has nothing to do with the divorce, this tool has been the most powerful one. I am no longer measuring myself by things that are materialistic. This tool is about your inner person. It's about developing your inner skills. It's about looking at yourself from a much more spiritual standpoint. For me as a Christian, it's like, God, who do you say I am? Not what people say I am. And that's been the most powerful. And of course, with this tool, I always add faith. I add prayer, I add intercession, which I do. But because I'm seeking for that healthy conceptualization, I'm able to measure progress better. I'm able to set goals, achieve them. I'm able to applaud and be my own cheerleader. I'm able to set a failure date, and that failure date has not come yet. Hallelujah. And the last thing, I'm able to stay away from people that can't get past, because this is a new person and it's a new future. I want you to share this video, like it, subscribe. I am excited about this series. It's going to get better every time. I have a list of so many more tools I'm going to be sharing. And I will talk to you very soon. Much love. Bye.